I got some terrible news I have to share with you guys. I'm going to do it now while I'm right fresh in it. I'm just going to show you. I was in here about to feed off a bunch of rats, and one of the first things that I saw when I walked into the snake house is that the new Taipan passed away. This snake is drop for drop the deadliest snake on the planet, and I got a beautiful pair. It really, really sucks. I hate it. I hate losing animals. What is going on, beautiful people? I know you're probably wondering what the hell's going on because you saw that title. Yes, the inland Taipan sadly passed away, but not both of them, so don't worry. We still have Steve right here. We named them Steve and Terry, and I believe Terry passed away. It really sucks. When you get baby snakes from across the seas over from Europe, it's a lot for them. You know, sometimes they eat real well where they're coming from in Europe, and then that overseas travel, that big trip just doesn't do well for them, doesn't sit well in their stomachs, and they end up just not eating. This snake particularly that passed away, it took down one single meal for the first time ever in my hands, and it passed. And here's the clip of when I found that Taipan. What is going on, beautiful people? I got some terrible news I have to share with you guys. I'm going to do it now while I'm right fresh in it. I'm just going to show you. I was in here about to feed off a bunch of rats, and one of the first things that I saw when I walked into the snake house is that the new Taipan passed away. I'm not messing around, guys. This is the Taipan that I've had, actually one of the two, and this is the one Taipan that hasn't eaten once, not once since I've owned it, and it ate its first meal and passed away. So there's a fuzzy in there after eating its first meal, and this snake passed away. I'm gonna put it down for a second and show you that the other Taipan right here, right in there, he's doing perfectly fine, eating like crazy. You can see he's breathing. He's doing really, really good. Nothing wrong with him. But ever since I got this Taipan, this one right here hasn't eaten one single time. And don't worry, guys, I poked him to make sure he's not still alive. This snake is drop for drop the deadliest snake on the planet, and I got a beautiful pair. They're also known as fierce snakes. These guys are found only in Australia. There's a few species of Taipan, but this is the Taipan that is known for having drop for drop the deadliest venom on our planet. It's a beautiful species, and what's really sad is that it was just a little young one. You know, this snake can get actually 7 feet long. That's a beautiful beast of a snake. And look at this, it has these amazing, amazing beige colorations, beautiful yellow and orange spotted underbelly, and a gorgeous black head, which is my favorite part about the Taipan, a beautiful looking dark head. And this is actually summer phase. These snakes change color, which makes them so special. This snake, during the winter, to absorb more heat, will turn a single color, single dark green, brownish coloration. And during the summer, it'll be in this summer phase color where it looks beige. And it's got a black head, so it can heat up faster, and it's not a big ordeal to sit out in the sun too long. It's so crazy. Look at this. It had its first meal, its first fuzzy. It never ate once. It's just a little baby, and this guy passed away. You know, I offered him live pinkies. I offered him frozen thawed. I offered him an anole lizard. There's even an anole lizard still in there. I offered him a bunch of different options, and he didn't take down anything. But then the one time this snake ate, he probably got so hungry because he hasn't eaten a single meal that he's like, you know, I'm just going to down this fuzzy. And that ended up doing it for him. He just wasn't developed properly, and this poor guy didn't make it. Really sorry to share this bad news with you guys, but I really didn't want to have to tell you guys later on. I'd rather just do it in the moment when it's fresh and it just happens. It's really a shame. This is one of the ultimate snakes. This is one of my favorite snakes on the planet. The fierce snake, the inland Taipan, drop for drop, most potent snake on the planet. A beautiful animal. What I'll do is I'll just put this guy in a bag and I'll put him in the freezer and preserve the body for documentation. And we can just look forward to the fact that the sibling over here will live a long, happy life because it's been eating no problem. Look at that beautiful Taipan. Probably getting ready to go through shed soon because of so many meals it's been pounding down. So, good news, this Taipan's doing great over here. Bad news, one of my Taipans passed away. It really sucks. I hate it. I hate losing animals, but it's a part of life. You know, everyone's got to deal with it. Whether it's your pet, it's your family, any of it. It's just a part of life. Animals pass away. It happens. This poor guy just didn't develop properly. Look at that face. Fierce snake. All right, we're gonna go put this guy in a container and preserve him. Gotta be real careful because I don't want to get poked with those fangs. It really sucks, guys, because taipans are obviously top tier snakes for me, snakes that I've wanted to work with my whole life. I've gone to Australia looking for them. I've gone out of my way to try and have them here in captivity. And of course, getting my own pair of inland taipans is one of the biggest moments in my reptile keeping career. But right here we have little Steve. And what we'll do today is we'll take him out, give him a nice little health check, make sure he's all good, and we'll clean out his enclosure. We'll put him inside this other glass terrarium where we kept little Terry. It really sucks that she passed away, but as you saw in that video, she didn't eat a single time. And then the one time she ate, she passed away. So something was wrong with that snake. Probably that trip overseas or something along those lines. But this taipan right here that I'm about to show you guys has been eating every single meal that I could possibly get. When I'd offer live pinks to Terry, the other taipan, and she wouldn't eat them, and I needed to get the pinkies out, this taipan would always eat her leftovers. So there's no waste of food when it comes to this snake, and you can tell because there's little spicy meatballs all over the place. All right, so what we're gonna do is just gently lift up this little hide and check out little Stevie. What's going on, dude? He's actually super defensive. He's basically, look at him. Whoa, 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 you see that? Look, I'm gonna put my hand over here so you guys can see that typical S-step position the taipans do. Look at that. Oh, he's a little twitchy right now. This snake is acting as if it's straight out of the wild, the way the snake is. But this is a beautiful captive-born inland taipan from Europe. And hopefully one day this male will end up being a monster around about 6 feet long. Let's see, let's get this snake out. Ooh, little squiggly worm, a little bit cantankerous. You know, this snake is probably so cantankerous and flighty because not just is he so small, but I never mess with these snakes, especially because I just got them. I don't want to stress them out. So I literally just see them once in a while when they're coming out in the morning and in the evening. They don't get to see me too much. Look at that, beautiful. It actually looks like it might be ready to go through shed. Its belly looks a little bit opaque, but look at that. Beautiful inland taipan, drop for drop, the deadliest snake on the planet. A beautiful lapid found in the middle of nowhere in the outback of Australia. And it's crazy because they are drop for drop the deadliest snake on the planet, but when it comes to deaths, they haven't caused a single death ever because nobody comes into contact with them and they don't want anything to do with people. The reason they have such a toxic type of venom is because these snakes need to be able to take down their rodents when they bite down on them as soon as possible so they don't scurry off into the distance and die elsewhere and they lose out on that meal. Also, the rodents that they're feeding on are extremely aggressive rodents that might bite the crap out of them because don't forget, we don't leave live feeders like live rats or mice with our ball pythons, boas, and even venomous reptiles because if you leave them alone with those snakes, if the snakes don't decide to eat them, the rodents will eat the snake. So you gotta be real careful. In the wild, you gotta have real potent venom or a real fast acting constriction to take down your prey before your prey starts to attack you. Even the great green anaconda gets chewed on by the capybaras and gets nasty scars. So something like a taipan, even being so venomous, they gotta make sure they get that bite real quick and they get out of the danger zone. Look at that beautiful taipan, little Stevie. It's really a shame that we lost that female, but at least little Stevie right here is eating fantastically. He's a beast. I mean, he actually looks maybe a little too chunky if you ask me, because he's been eating those extra pinkies. So we'll put him on a little bit of a diet. But I'm looking forward to seeing this snake grow up into a beast of a taipan. Taipans can literally get around 7 feet long. That's a huge lapid. Front fixed fanged lapid, easily give you a bite, injecting a deadly neurotoxic venom that incapacitates you and leaves you not able to breathe on your own. So it's a really nasty bite. But like I said, they haven't been in a single person. Well, they haven't been in a single person in the wild unless people mess with them. And when it comes to situations, just natural bites occurring, it never happens. These snakes never come into contact with people. It's only when a dingus like me goes out into the outback and tries to mess with these snakes that you get tagged. Or when you work with them in captivity. Interesting story, here in Florida, on the day of 9/11 in September, there was a man who was bitten by an inland taipan at a reptile shop here in Florida on 9/11 when all flights ceased and nobody was flying planes. They didn't have anti-venom for taipans and they had to get special permission to get that anti-venom shipped all the way to South Florida so this guy could survive the bite. The dude who got bit by that taipan, he had blood coming out of his gums, his corner of his eyes, probably bleeding out his butt a little bit too. So it's a nasty bite. You never want to take a chance with the taipan. And he's basically like a little wild snake the way he acts. He flares up, he hisses, he strikes. I'm sure if you guys follow me on my Instagram, you saw that little story of him hissing and puffing up his neck and striking like crazy. I don't antagonize this snake at all. He just doesn't get messed with at all. So when he sees me, he's like, oh my goodness, a giant. Because you gotta think of it, he's only about like a quarter inch off the ground, and I'm about almost 6 feet tall off the ground. So I'm very intimidating for a little taipan like himself. But little Stevie, eventually he'll be about 6+ feet long. He'll be a beast, and he'll be real confident. And eventually he'll learn that I'm not his enemy. All right, so the enclosure is nice and clean. I'm gonna clean out this water dish real good. It's got some gunk on the bottom, I don't want that. So we're gonna get that clean. I'm gonna put his hide back. All right, beautiful people, we've got the fresh water, good to go. I'm just gonna stick it right there in the corner. Let's get Stevie, little Steve, right back in the enclosure as well. What are you doing, little dude? Nice and smooth transition. Come here, buddy. Ooh, you gonna let me grab your tail a little bit, huh? Little Stevie? Look at that. Beautiful inland taipan, just a little wee baby. Imagine finding a wild inland taipan one day. Good thing is Ricky Mack from the Outback, my good friend, has some great spots we can go look for when we can eventually go back to Australia and start looking for snakes again. That's definitely a trip I want to check off my bucket list. Let's get you right back in that enclosure. Ooh, you're gonna be shedding soon. You're growing like crazy, little Stevie. I'm so proud of you. There we go. Let's get a lock on that, nice and secure. Here in the state of Florida, when it comes to keeping venomous reptiles, you have to be licensed. And when you have the exotic venomous reptiles, you have to make sure that you have a picture for photo identification, and you also have the scientific name, also the English name, and also label it danger venomous reptile. But never forget, always locked and secure Florida Fish and Wildlife approved enclosures. I actually have to get inspected once a year to twice a year for all of my venomous reptiles, and then for crocs and stuff like that, I gotta get inspected about 2 times a year. So I'm always under the eye of inspectors, and everyone's making sure all my stuff is nice and secure. But obviously we take that very seriously here, because we would never want anything to escape. These are all so deadly dangerous snakes. They're not out to get you, but it's good to keep responsibility in mind when keeping stuff like this, so you're a good impression to the rest of the community that wants to get into this in the future, because everyone's impressionable, and you never want people to get the idea that you can be reckless with these animals. When it comes to biosecurity, that's the #1 rule. Always making sure everything is locked and secured. So if you want to see the king get his big old enclosure, definitely check us out on chandlerswildlife.com. Support us as much as you guys can so we can make this big goal happen. We got a lot of awesome conservation work we're trying to do, but before we start doing other stuff, we want to make sure all the animals we got at the facility have the best enclosures possible. I'll see you on the next one. Stay beautiful, stay safe, and most of all, follow your dreams, stay passionate, do what you really love in life, because all I ever wanted to do with my life is work with wildlife, and now look at me. I got my own facility, I'm working on getting it built out, I'm following my dreams. So you guys should definitely follow your dreams if you feel passionate about something, and I'm sure you do. Love you guys, see you on the next one.